Trevor. 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 Trevor.
After what you pulled last week, I don't ever want to talk to you
What
again.
did I do?
Folks, Dawn and I went to go see Dune Part 2 last week. It was my third time seeing it. It was his second time seeing it. And I took him to an IMAX theater, a real IMAX theater, full IMAX, the 143, 142 aspect ratio, 80 feet tall screen, incredible experience. And all he did was every 5 minutes lean over and make some crappy joke. He would check
The
his
jokes
Apple
were
Watch
excellent.
obsessively. He shook his knee the entire time like he was a horny teenager, and you could feel that in the seats next to you. And so I'm shaking. It what I promise you, I promised you right when the credits rolled, I turned to you and I said, I will never go see a movie with you again. And then 10 minutes later, I agreed to go see what did I agree to go see with
Civil
you?
War, I think we're
Civil
gonna
War,
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I have no interest in
Well,
seeing.
Trevor, we had such a great outpouring of love for our Dune Part 2, Part 1 episode a few episodes ago that, you know what? I think we should do Dune Part 2, Part 2. What do you say?
Wow, that was a hell of a transition. Good for you, Don. Broadcasting skills all the way.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I haven't listened to anything you've said in the last 20 seconds.
Damn it, Trevor.
Oh, God, I hate you so much.
Well, it's you. We can cross off the reading.
I watch almost everything, and the majority of it is terrible.
What is this podcast about?
My recorder keeps turning off.
Damn it, Trevor. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of No Win Scenario. I am Don, and lurking around in the shadows is Trevor. And this is Dune Part 2, Part 2. Trevor, I can't believe we're doing this again. Oh, don't call me that. I cannot believe we're doing Dune again. I love Dune. I can't wait for today's guest. What's going on?
If it's not Star Trek, you would talk Dune all day long. Today, we are our guest is Brian Tamm, the executive director of the Independent Film Festival Boston. Throughout the year, they have a lot of screenings and film festivals. They have one small festival called the Fall Focus, but in the spring, specifically this year, May 1st through the 8th, they have their annual spring festival. Lots of great movies, lots of guests, and I meet a lot of great filmmakers there every year. Cards on the table. I volunteer for the festival. I do a lot of work for them. And Brian is here to talk about science fiction in the independent exhibition world, but he's really here to talk about his love
Our love. Our
for
love.
David Lynch's, I like to
Masterpiece
call it
film.
Dune 1984, which totally drives Don nuts.
Drives me
Dune
crazy.
84.
What an epic movie for its time. And looking back on it, truly a masterpiece of a film with some problems, but love it. And Trevor will learn to love it as well.
I mean,
But,
I'll agree. It does have some problems, and one of those problems is that it exists.
But you know what,
But,
Trevor?
you know-
I feel like let's leave the Dune talk to Brian. Anything else going on in your world?
Ooh, is that you giving me a cue for
Oh
something?
no, that's not what I meant. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don, do you know what time it is?
Oh God.
It's time for Trevor's Tangent. Now, this is going to be interesting one, Don, because usually the rule is that Don's not allowed to comment at all. He does anyways because he's but because he's a jerk.
No cursing, please. I have
but-
to bleep these out, you know.
But I'm actually going to bring Don into this one, and it's a it's a question that I have that I find completely confounding.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, you love Dune 84. You love it.
David Lynch's Dune.
You think it's fantastic.
I enjoy it. It's fun. And movies should be
You
fun.
think it's a great film. You've told me.
What is a
You've
great
used these
film?
words.
It's a fun movie.
Oh my God! Stop it! You're not running for president. You think it's a great film, do you not? Yes.
I enjoy it. That's all that
my
matters.
God.
You just need to enjoy art, people. Don't listen to these snobs. You just need to enjoy it.
Okay, so if you can enjoy a film, if a lot of the sci-fi fans can, and granted, Dune 84 has more detractors than supporters. It does, even to this day, as it's kind of being reappraised and more people are coming out and showing love for it. It still has more detractors than supporters. What I find so puzzling, and we're going to move over to another franchise, is that there was another science fiction film that came out in 1984, which I find to be, I don't find it to be as wildly entertaining as the sequel that came after it. I don't find it to be as well made, well acted, well crafted, and unbelievably well written as the film that came before it. But what I don't understand is that there is a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but a lot of people dismiss Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock, a film that I find, I was just watching some of it the other day. I find it to be ridiculously entertaining. Like, and anything here. Let me go through. Let me go. No,
Can I speak?
let me go. No, hold on. Let me go through what I find entertaining about
I
it.
just before you do this, I'm
Nimoy-
baffled. You have been criticizing me for talking about Star Trek, about bringing Star Trek guests, and here you are, and your little tangent now throwing in a Star Trek thing. Like what? How dare you, sir? How
I don't
dare
understand
you?
why so many people hate this film. Number one,
I don't hate it.
it's Nimoy's directorial debut as a film, and it's a great directorial debut. He just keeps it moving so that you don't have a second to think about how dumb the thing is, that just came before, which I think is a sign of a strong filmmaker. Just keeps it moving. I think Shatner's performance in it is good, and all of you guys rag on. It's so stupid when he says, "I have had enough of you."
I have had enough of you.
But that is a far cry from him screaming Khan in The Wrath of Khan. I mean, that's not nearly as ridiculous as that, and I think Wrath of Khan's a masterpiece. But the thing moves along. The optical effects are fantastic. You've got Doc Brown doing a great performance as a Klingon. James Horner's score, which is, kind of a continuation of his score for Wrath of Khan, is fantastic. The escape from
Space Dock. That's the best part. Best part
one
of the movie.
The best action sequences, I think, out of the entire, original cast movies. That action sequence is fantastic. I don't know. What is your problem with that movie?
First of all, I don't have a big problem with that movie.
Yes, you do. You've ragged on me before for liking
not
it.
at all. I do like the first hour a lot. I think the escape.
What's
from
wrong
Space
with the
Dock-
second hour then?
The only issue I have with the second hour is, other than I've had enough of you, as he kicks him, he's like, it's like
So,
I.
that's such-
as he's kicking him,
That's
kicking him.
so
down.
stupid. It's such
funny,
a dumb
but it doesn't bother me that
complaint.
much. No, I honestly think, and I'm talking for people, I don't know if this is true. It might seem like a lack of epic scope, being on the planet with the four of them on the Genesis planet, and just being like four people and some Klingons. It doesn't feel grand enough.
Right.
I think the people who complain about it, again, I'm not one of them, think it should be about a massive thing. I do think I have issues with some of the other, like the J.J. Abrams most recent Star Trek films.
Oh, Into Darkness?
Into Darkness did not have the
That
scope.
film's very bad.
Did not have the scope and scale that I kind of want. Same thing with like how Kirk dies in Generations. It didn't feel Viridian 3. It didn't feel like it had. It didn't have a big enough like impact of like what the sacrifice was for. So I think that's what it was. But I'm with you. Like, no,
you're not, because you've ripped on that movie so much in the past. You're not with me. And then there's this kind of accepted. There's kind of this accepted theory that like every other Trek film is good, and let me tell you, that thing goes out the window.
Disagree. Come
pretty
on.
quickly.
Bolts, show me true.
Come on, I got it down. That's pretty
It's
good.
great.
Live effects, everyone. Live effects. This is Tamm
Anyways,
right here.
I think that film is very, very entertaining. Does it have sure, I can criticize it, and one criticism would be after just Wrath of Khan is just an unbelievable script. It really is. It's so perfect. And yes, the search for Spock kind of takes away from the emotional weight of Wrath of Khan, but I mean, I still think that what's been called the Genesis trilogy is just, I mean,
four saves three. I mean, four not saves three, but I think four, maybe three is what's the word? Isn't appreciated as much, especially in light of how good four is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe four makes three better than it is, but
no, I think it's the opposite. It makes it worse than it is to some people.
Oh,
because
okay.
four was so much fun and two was so serious that three never felt like it had a place. Like one was the wonder and back, but I'm with you. I like it too.
I watch it.
Honestly, I don't hate five. I don't think it's a good movie. I don't like the end of it. I don't hate it like it's a bastard child. Yep, Trevor's got a weird face on. I mean, again, it's not a good movie, but I get it.
I think they fixed it, but I love when the Star Trek V title card comes around and it shakes across the screen until it centers itself. They didn't Shatner didn't. I don't know. I love when they're on the rocket boots going up through the floors and none of the numbers match. It's like floor 72, floor 56, floor 17. Like it is.
The only really redeeming thing in that movie that I think it makes it me not hate it is that one little bit with Shatner when he's with Bones and Spock. And he says, "I'm going to die alone. I've always known I'm going to die alone."
Mm-hmm, yes.
That sort of thing. That 2-minute scene and then the 30 seconds at the end of the movie, because that's the dynamic of the original show, that saves it for me. Saves all the bad story, all the bad everything, the God, all that stuff. That little moment is enough for me to be true, quote, true Star Trek that feels good and right and something useful.
Okay, so
I made him cry, everybody. Look at him.
Here is Don defending, arguably, and most people would agree, not just the worst Star Trek film out of all the films, but one of the worst movies of the 80s. And now we're going to bring on our guest, Brian Tamm, so that he and Don can defend one of the other worst sci-fi epics of the 80s.
Lies, sir.
Dune.
David Lynch's
1984
masterpiece, Dune.
And I keep calling it Dune 84 because it makes Don think I'm calling it Wonder Woman 84.
Oh my God.
Which,
crazy.
While that's a bad movie too, it's better than Dune 84.
All right, let's get Brian out here so he can back me up on this masterpiece. All right, everyone stick around.
And for those that leave or turn off the podcast, I don't blame you.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
Oh, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. Get more with Geico.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Brian Tamm. I'm the Executive Director of the Independent Film Festival Boston.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to No Win Scenario. I'm sure we made about 2 pennies on that ad break. What would you say, Don? 2, 3 cents?
1.5.
1.5.
Can you do fractions? I don't remember.
No, not at all.
Oh, not yet.
I don't believe in them. I am so happy to have Brian Tamm, Executive Director of the Independent Film Festival Boston, which has been going on for 22 years, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. It's our 21st year.
21st year, 21, lucky number 21, legal to drink now. And I've been going to the festival since 2006. And full disclosure, I've been volunteering for the festival for the last 4 or 5 years. And I would say Brian is a friend. Would you call us friends, Brian?
Sure.
Friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're friends. Yeah.
It's a
we
good
have
thing this is a podcast, an audio podcast, because he is clenching his teeth responding to you, Trevor.
So the reason we're having Brian on is because he knows a lot about cinema, independent film. He goes to a lot of the major film festivals, and what we want to, we initially want to talk about how science fiction fits into the independent cinema, kind of sphere, but then we're going to get to another topic, something that I don't want to talk about, but unfortunately we have to, and that will be revealed shortly. But first, let me start with a question. Brian, you watch a lot of cinema? I mean, you see everything. Do you like? Well, I mean, stupid question, but do you like science fiction?
I do. I like science fiction quite a bit. Yeah. I'm
Hard-hitting question there, Trevor.
I mean,
Good
I'm not.
job.
I will say I don't watch everything. I tend not to watch horror, and I'm not that big into fantasy, but I do like science fiction quite a bit.
Fantasy, like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, those movies are pretty bad. They haven't aged well.
I never could get through those books, so
Yeah.
I found the movies tedious. But that's just
yeah, I agree. So what I wanted to ask is, you and Nancy, who's your programmer, program director, you bring science fiction to your festivals, but there's, and to no fault of your own, there doesn't seem to be a lot of science fiction out there in the independent realm. Or is that not the case?
I mean, I guess it depends how you define it. I feel like kind of like your big budget kind of science fiction obviously is not doable. But I mean, I think there's movies like, if you're going to look at a movie like Primer as science fiction, I think there is science fiction to be found out there. I think some of the best science fiction is the stuff where they figure out, like, how do we do this that we don't need to build a bunch of sets or have a bunch of CGI or whatever, and just kind of have a story that's, science fiction-ish. So
do you think that's what's kind of limiting filmmakers, is that they just have this idea that science fiction has to have a look, it has to have big production values, and they don't kind of realize that that ideas alone could get them into the science. I mean, Primer is a great example. It's a phenomenal science fiction film. I know for a fact Don hasn't seen it, and it's incredible. And a lot of it takes place in a garage. It's filled with really cerebral, thought-provoking ideas, and nothing that you would consider science fiction. I'm making the quotes with my fingers, but they're definitely science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, I think, to me, I think the best science fiction is sort of always kind of metaphorical for what's happening now anyways. I mean, I think, like, if you look at, like, Dune, the spices obviously can be read as a metaphor for oil. So, I mean, I think any good science fiction is always kind of saying, like, how can we talk about what's happening now and just build sort of like a metaphor around it so there's a distance so we can talk about it in a way that's maybe not quite as heavy-handed.
Han, that's really interesting. You brought up Dune as an example. I wonder why that is. Don, do you have any questions, or are you just going to sit there on your ass until the part that you're waiting for comes up?
I do have a question, Trevor. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, I don't know if you know this, but Trevor once helped produce a little sci-fi short film series. I don't know if you know this. And he loved it. He loved every second of it. And part of that was me having him hold a broom up in front of his face and walk back and forth. He thought he was an alien shadow, but I just wanted to see him walking back and forth for about 3 hours with a broom in front of his face in the shadows. But it was the highlight of his professional career, from what I'm told.
Yeah, Don neglects to tell you that he wrote and directed this film, and whoa, let me tell you, it's compelling material. I mean, it's whoa. I mean, you guys would totally book it for your festival. And by totally, I mean absolutely not. You guys would laugh at it.
Excuse me, Trevor. Excuse me. Winner of many awards. I don't recall them because it's been
exactly. Exactly. You can't recall
but
them.
As soon as I bring my press kit, I will read the litany of them to you. But go on.
Okay, you know what? Enough. Let's just get to it.
No.
I would say in general, I mean, I think I do think there's like some great science fiction happening. But I would say in general, it's hard to make a movie. I mean, there's like a lot of bad movies out there. And I think to make, I wonder if, trying to do a science fiction film is maybe more than some people can bite off. So, I mean, I think maybe that's one of the things holding people back. I think, you see a lot of fan movies on YouTube where there's like really good special effects, but the movie's not that compelling. So I think getting all the pieces to work is hard. So it's not, I think it's a little trickier than just kind of doing a more personal, your more traditional indie that's just kind of, following people around in a present day location.
Right. It's like you don't see a lot of indie. You be quiet, Trevor. It's like you don't see a lot of indie period pieces for the same reason,
Yeah, because
it's tricky. Yeah, it's too expensive. But Trevor, winner Best Science Fiction, the Boston International Film Festival, 2016. We got an honorable mention.
Is that even a real film festival, Brian?
Holly Shorts, a finalist at Holly Shorts, an Oscar qualifying festival. Boston Comic Con. Hot Springs, I don't remember that one. Philip K. Dick Film Festival, Tri-Cities Film Festival, Independent Television Film Festival.
See, look at Brian's face because he's very familiar with the whole independence, the whole festival scene, and he knows all those festivals are kind of a joke.
What year? That's not necessarily what I'm saying. What year did your don't pull me into your nonsense? What year was this film out in the world?
It was a short film series 2016. Actually, I don't remember. It was between 2013 and 2016.
See, he doesn't even remember.
It won an economic development production grant from Dover, Vermont, of all things.
You should send it to Brian so he can experience the suffering that we all did.
Well, speaking of suffering, Trevor, I got nothing. I'm just looking at you and I'm suffering.
My last question for Brian: we're in the last 21 years of IFF Boston. Are there any science fiction films that you and Nancy are booked for the festival? And were there any standouts to you?
Geez, I'd have to think about that. Or ask Nancy. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember any, but that doesn't necessarily mean there weren't some. I don't end up seeing everything that we play. So it's entirely possible that there's something that we played that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. I'm sure there is. One movie that comes to mind that we didn't play is a movie called Prospect that stars Pedro Pascal kind of before he blew up, and it's about it takes place. It's about I don't remember the specifics. I think they're miners or something. They go to like another planet, and then things go awry. But like everything happens in this forest, and it's just this really great kind of three-hander between Jay Duplass and the girl who plays his daughter, and then Pedro Pascal. And I think it's like it's a movie I think about a lot. It's like you can, like, they built a spaceship and they built like kind of like, space outfits to wear, but it's all just this three-hander in a forest. It could have been like a Western, it could have been a contemporary piece. So I think stuff like that I think is really exciting.
Yeah.
What is the key? I'd say, what do you think the key is to be successful at a festival?
Oh, in general? Oh, geez.
In general. Isn't that a horrible question?
Have a good film, have something to say. I mean, I think, what Nancy talks about a lot is she's looking for, people who've got, a unique voice, something that, like a lot of movies, you end up watching like hundreds and hundreds of movies every year. And, they're kind of, a lot of them tend to be kind of the same. So like somebody who sticks out a little bit, is definitely,
but does it require talent, like known talent?
Like you mean a celebrity?
Yeah.
No, I mean you need to have talent, but like I mean we show a lot of movies.
You hear that, Trevor? You need to have some talent.
Yeah.
I mean we show a lot of movies that don't have named people in them, or people who then go on to be famous. I mean, we showed movies with Greta Gerwig and the Duplass brothers before they blew up and stuff. So I mean, sometimes those people do go on to be bigger, but we're not necessarily looking for a celebrity. We're looking for a good story. So I mean, I don't know that having a celebrity necessarily makes or a big name makes your film better.
Well, I feel like a lot of early filmmakers tend to spend all their money trying to get a C-level, B-level old actor something into their films just to give it some more what they think of as legitimacy. And I don't know how effective that can be when the story's not there.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a story and you're like, oh, who would be really good in this is, I don't know, like someone who has like Faye Dunaway, and if you can get Faye Dunaway, like you're like, great, well, I can showcase Faye Dunaway in a way she hasn't been in a long time. But like that's not necessarily a requirement.
What?
Okay, we're moving on.
Well, why don't we get to why we're here?
Let's get to the real reason why we're here, and I'll introduce this. The real reason why we are here is I don't understand. I don't get it. I kind of don't want to get it, but here we are. I've known Brian for a while, and I was on 2 occasions I was scolded by Brian. I'm telling you, I was scolded.
Wow. News to me.
Are we talking about Miller's Crossing?
Because there are 2 films that I just don't like. I don't like them. One of them is called Miller's Crossing by the Coens. And the second one is called Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese.
Oh.
I don't like these films. I'll be honest, about every 5 years, I give Raging Bull another try to see if my mind has changed, if maybe I've shifted as a person. And I mean, I'll acknowledge that it's incredibly well made, but I just don't like the film. And I've got an earful from Brian. I mean, I think even angry at one point during the Miller's Crossing scolding.
I'm much more angry at Miller's Crossing.
Yeah. Is that...
We both know someone who's, I think their favorite film is Raging Bull, and I can't believe that she still speaks to you.
Wow.
I can't believe she still speaks to me either, but it just goes to show how much of a loving, compassionate, engaging friend that I am, that my personality goes beyond fucking Raging Bull. So anyways, I got quite an earful. I mean, is Miller's Crossing your favorite, and would you consider it their best? It's not their best, by the way.
Okay, those are 2 different things. Yeah,
I know.
My favorite. I think their best film is A Simple Man, because I think
I think it's I'm not trying to be a jerk. I think it's A Serious Man. Is it A Serious Man?
Oh, Serious Man. Sorry, I got it confused with the fashion movie.
Yeah.
Tom Ford one. Yeah, it's A Serious Man. Because I think to me, that's the movie that kind of most delivers on all the things that are their occupation and the most effectively. But to me, my favorite of their films is Miller's Crossing.
So I agree with you on A Serious Man. I think that's their best film. Now, the point of this is, let's go back about 2 years. The Brattle Theater.
You were 74.
Harvard Square. Pretty close. The Brattle Theater in Harvard Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts, had a screening of a film by David Lynch called Dune.
Yay.
This film is from 1984. And Dawn said, oh my God, we got to go. And I didn't want to go because I don't like this film. And we went. And Dawn met Brian. Now, keep in mind, Brian loves movies like Raging Bull. He loves movies like Miller's Crossing, and I
like Starship Troopers.
Like these are even if I don't like them, these are very high quality films that are beloved and enjoyed by many.
Mm-hmm.
And however, both Dawn and Brian think that Dune 1984 is absolutely brilliant. And when they met that night at the Brattle Theater, that was their first time that they met. About halfway through the film, I looked over and they were holding hands and they were wiping
I was
each
going to say,
other.
we have a love you'll never understand, Trevor.
They were wiping each other's tears, their tears of joy off each other's faces. And I sat there and I was like, this is insufferable. This is ridiculous. The point of this is that Dune 2 is now out. And I loved it. And I believe, Brian, you loved Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2, yes?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
As
yeah,
did I, excuse
and
me.
Surprisingly enough, Don did too. And but the both of you, the thing is, I can't. Don's arguments for Dune 1984 are absolutely ridiculous.
No.
Brian, you have some very compelling arguments.
Hold on. Before we get to Brian, I have one overarching point for why I still like it. I don't think it's a better cinematic masterpiece. I think the newer Dunes made me appreciate the 84 one even more because there were issues with it, but they were able to accomplish so much of what's in the original Dune book, minus the crazy voice weapon. They were able to get so much done in 3 hours in that original movie that in these 5 hours of the new one were left to the side. I'll leave it at that. Brian, tell him I'm right.
I kind of missed that because I just saw on cable that Raging Bull is playing, and I'd rather watch that than listen to you talk for another minute. Brian.
So I guess, look, I get that people don't like Dune. I get it. Like, I get it. I get that it's not. I get that it's flawed. I get that for someone who hasn't read the books, it's completely incomprehensible. I totally understand that. But
Trevor hasn't read the books.
I have not.
So he has no context.
I do feel, because I've had this experience, like watching it at the Brattle, where people I know came up to me and they're like, okay, like, I don't know what the hell happened. And like, what is this? And what is this one? Like, I totally get that. But I also feel that it does capture, I mean, keep in mind, Herbert was on set while this was being made. And Herbert, when he saw, I think he probably saw like an early rough cut, like maybe like the 5 hour cut. And he loved it. And I think he even understood that, you know, like, look, you can't, a book is a book and a movie is a movie, and they kind of are doing two different things. I think, you know, I really appreciate what they did. I think, you know, Dom, to your point, like, it covered a lot of things that are in the book. I think, you know, when I watched like the 3 hour fan edits that put all the deleted scenes in, I think it's more complete. I would have liked to see a 3 hour version of it rather than like a 220 version of it. I feel like it was a different time, but I think, like, you know, if that movie came out now, obviously 3 hours wouldn't be a big deal, but then that was a deal breaker. But I do feel it captures a lot of what's great about the book.
It's more the way I see it is, the new one, he wanted to focus on the Bene Gesserit and sort of one pillar of the society from the book series. But what I think made the book very interesting is it wasn't just the Bene Gesserit. It was the Bene Gesserit. It was the Mentats. It was the balance between the Emperor and the different houses, but also the Chom. There was this Chom company contract, right, that they have in the 84 one. Like, it was about the Landsrat and how, you know, the Emperor was worried that the Atreides was becoming popular amongst the other great houses, that he was a threat, not that he led with love, or whatever Christopher Walken said that I needed cut out of that new film.
But also, like, the Spacing Guild. I mean,
and the Guild is right, exactly. Go ahead, yeah.
In a sense of he's the emperor, but he's still beholden to other people. And I think what I love so much about Herbert's book is it's so interested in politics. And I mean, to the point that in the book, the Baron is, spoiler alert, the Baron is killed basically off screen. Like, he doesn't care about the specifics. The Baron is dead. Now, what does that mean for the politics? That's the thing that intrigues him. So I think both of these filmmakers, both Villeneuve and Lynch, have to take the story and be like, okay, like, this is a book of ideas. How do we make this kind of into a movie that's got images in it? And I feel like what Lynch tried to do is focus on, like, okay, where are all the action parts in it that we can make kind of a traditional science fiction, and then we'll kind of pump it full of voiceovers to kind of maybe explain things through. And I think what Villeneuve did is said, well, let's just talk, like, let's make this more character based, and we're going to write dialogue that isn't in the book, but gives you a sense of who these people are without having to have a big exposition dump or without having to have a voiceover. And I think they both come at it differently, and I think they're both successful in their own way.
They absolutely are. I just wish the Guild was involved, because I feel like that was such a just so missing in this. So missing, and it would make the world so much richer and give it so much more scope versus just like the emperor lives in a house in some random planet. I don't know. It felt a little shallow on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's some stuff missing in the new version still. I definitely think, and I love the design of the new version, but there's something about Lynch's version where they said, okay, each planet's going to have its own look, so that, Arrakis is rocks, and Kaitan is gold, and Giedi Prime is like oil and steel, and then Caladan is wood, so that you always know where you are. And I think especially what they did with the Emperor is so much richer than like in the
Lynch version was richer for the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Version, but there's like a scene like they're playing Cheops like in a garden somewhere, and then they're sitting in the small room drinking tea, and I feel like you're missing out.
Small. It was small.
Yes.
Absolutely. It was small and powerless, and not imposing, and not regal, and not any of the stuff that I think Lynch was able to do. And wouldn't take another hour to do it. You could do it in 5 minutes. You could do it with the time that you had. Trevor is sad. Look at him.
So I have kind of
We're over here. Talk to us over here. We're over here.
I have kind of a hybrid point question. And please don't interrupt me until I finish, please. So what it sounds like is that I hate you. What it sounds like is that my enjoyment of the Dune 1984 Lynch movie is predicated on me reading this book, which sounds to me like it's no different than I will understand this garbage Disney Plus Star Wars show if I watch the garbage all 60 episodes of some crappy animated Star Wars show. I mean, that doesn't sound any different to me. It doesn't. I'm sorry, guys. It doesn't sound any different.
Because we didn't like Ahsoka that much, Trevor or I, because we're like, we didn't watch Rebels, so we weren't really invested in what was going on. With Dune, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we appreciated how much was able to be put in there because the book is so dense and has so much world in it. I don't think appreciating it requires you to have read the book. I don't. I think you should watch the movie again after seeing the new ones.
I feel like you probably don't need to read the book, but I do feel reading the book probably makes some of it a little bit more clear. It is definitely, it packs a lot of stuff into its runtime, and I don't know if I think it starts off on a bad foot by having a ton of exposition. So like,
well, it could have been worse. Have you seen the 20-minute like animated intro to it?
I've seen the version where Dino De Laurentiis's wife talks about CHOAM, and I'm like, why are you doing this? CHOAM is so complicated and ultimately unnecessary to some degree. I mean, it's cut out completely out of the Villeneuve version, and I feel like I take your point that it makes it a bigger world, but if you're looking for stuff to jump out, like explaining well, okay, so the Harkonnens really run it, but then there's these great companies and there's an emperor, but then also it's also run through this like corporation, like is kind of confounding. And to have Dino's wife in her thick Italian accent talk, like explain what CHOAM is, you're like, what the fuck are you even doing? Like, it just seems like such a crazy idea, and I'm glad they kind of cut that out. But I think for a lot of regular people, they're like, okay, I'm gonna get ready for a movie, and they're like, oh wait, there's it's almost like there's like you've got to take a quiz in like the background of it, and I feel like there's a lot of ways that they could have done better. And I like Villeneuve's version of like, let's just kind of dive into it and we'll kind of explain things in context as we go along. I don't think they had enough faith in the audience in 1984 to just kind of say like, okay, we're going to put you in this world and you'll figure it out. It's like, well, let's explain everything. But I think that backfires and everyone's like, wait, hold on. Like, I don't remember. Wait, where are we now? Wait, which one of these planets is this? I think it becomes a little bit confusing the first time you watch it.
I mean, isn't Dune 1984 like?
Stop talking about it that way, like it's Wonder Woman 1984 or whatever. I don't like this. Just the original Dune or David Lynch's Dune.
Dune 1984, where Dino, isn't this him wanting to capitalize on Star Wars fever, but instead Lynch gave him something else?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, they talk about it a lot as being like Star Wars for adults, which is dumb.
But also why Trevor doesn't like it.
Well, but it's the opposite of. I mean, I will say one huge flaw of Lynch's Dune is that it makes it a hero's journey. which the book is not that at all. It's the
Not at
opposite.
all. That's true.
Although,
Very good point.
to be fair, not everyone got that, so he had to write Dune Messiah to explain the point he was getting across, which is that the worst thing you can do is follow a Messiah or a charismatic leader. So that
people aren't getting it now from the movie now, Brian.
Yeah, that is stunning to me that people aren't getting that from Villeneuve's versions.
People are not media literate, because when I watched it the first time, I'm like, this is so heavy-handed, like it's a little much. And then to hear people be like, oh, like, but he's a white savior, like sort of, but like not, but that's not a good thing.
Here's the thing. I agree with you to some extent, but I understand, because even though multiple times says, I don't want to become that person, unless people see it, they don't really understand it. So just because he says, my visions lead to a jihad and billions of people dead, I think in the newer ones, they didn't do as good of a job. Not as good. They didn't do a good job in either film, but they didn't do as much as they could have about understanding what the visions were and what the golden path ultimately is and what he really is going to do. I don't think people, if they saw what he's going to do, it would have been much more of a bittersweet ending, I guess, for some people, if they saw the millions and billions of people who die as a result of him making that choice.
I mean, I feel like a lot of that's layered in the first movie, where like there's like the scene when like he and Chani are like in that kind of ship, like looking down, and they look kind of like, you know, they look. But I think the scene when he like comes into the war room and starts yelling, and it's like, I'm going to do that, like that to me, it's like, oh, like now he's showing he's a bad guy. And I feel like there's not.
Well, that was a big change. It was very cool, but he was too big of a shift that I don't think that landed as, okay, now he's a bad guy, or he's gonna. It just looked like a tactic slightly.
But I think to me it was fair. I mean, and again, I know the books pretty well, but to me, I read that as him saying like Villeneuve trying to be like he's not the guy you thought he was. He's not a good guy. Like he's not, like he keeps talking about how he wants to save them, but really all he's doing is obsessing about, but also like revenging his father.
Yeah.
And you know, this whole idea, oh, I can't stop this. I can't stop. Like, there's a million ways you could have stopped this, but you chose not to because ultimately you kind of wanted this thing. And I think it's also about the seduction of power. I think is kind of inherent in the story.
Right, but they didn't really show him being seduced by power or falling in the movie, right? They didn't really show that. They showed the shifts somewhat, but not really the only choice he ever really made.
Brian, Don likes things spoon-fed. I'm sorry, it's true.
No, audiences.
No,
we're talking about why audiences didn't get it. Was when he made that line, "Lead them to paradise" at the end, right? But at that point, the music and the knife fight was a one, so it was almost a little bit lost, like for some people, I think.
I feel to me like, okay, the change of Chani's character and making her kind of an oppositional voice, to me, I think is really what kind of frames all this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Her kind of this idea of like, and none of this is in the book, but like her kind of pointing out, like, we need to save ourselves. You know, we should, you know, like also making a much bigger deal of the Missionaria Protectiva, which I think is one of the most fascinating things in the book.
Yeah.
That's not in Lynch's Dune at all. This idea that like all these myths that we have were ways that they could potentially trap us if they landed here. So I feel like her kind of making such a big deal about, you know, we need to save ourselves, I think kind of sets up this opposition in a way that makes it, I just think a lot of the ideas from Messiah are pulled a little bit forward into this version, which I think is a lot stronger. I think in the Lynch version, it's very kind of straightforward and kind of messianic, where like he's clearly he was raised to be in royalty, and then when that's taken away from him, he goes back, and not only does he take over his throne, he takes over the ultimate throne, and then brings reign to Arrakis.
Everybody
with like literally like no context for that. So I think a lot of it is just kind of like a there's a bit of a Deus Ex Machina about it, about like, oh, he wins everything and now he brought reign and like that's it, it's done. So I don't even know where you would go for a sequel with this movie, but I do feel it is a little bit more straightforward in the Star Wars vein of like the hero's journey.
Yeah.
And I think Herbert's Dune is not the hero's journey at all. And I feel like that's one of the things I like about the newer version is it kind of picks up more of that. But I also understand, again, it's 1984. It's like,
It's different.
the era of Ghostbusters and the era of, more
Blade
straightforward science fiction.
Post
that,
Return of the Jedi, stuff like that.
which
Okay,
is terrible, but yeah.
I have some some fair questions. I think first of all, on a technical level, so when we saw Dune 1984 at the Brattle 2 years ago, that was a film print. Now, Brian, was that an original film print, or was that, was that an original 84 print?
I'm assuming it was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to my knowledge, the Universal spent $0, doing anything for that film. So I doubt that they struck new prints. Every time I've seen it, either at the Coolidge or the Brattle, it has been on film. And my guess is that it had a fairly wide release, I believe. And I'm assuming they just had a lot of prints around because the movie just tanked. So they just have pretty decent prints still in existence. But I don't know that for a fact.
Don, get off your phone. So my question is that this recent 4K Arrow release that came out, when did that come out? Last year? 2 years ago?
Oh.
Yeah. You've got it on your shelf. Yep.
He's studying it.
2021.
Am I wrong to say, and I've seen it, am I wrong to say that it looks radically different from the original look when it was released in 1984, or was maybe this is what they always intended for it to look like? I actually have seen Dune 84 multiple times, and I've never seen it like that. And I understand, remasters, especially on a digital format, there's, things look different compared to a print, but this was wild.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, my understanding, they don't have any notes in here. My understanding is that it was just, it's a restoration from the original camera negative, but that's all they say about it. So I don't know.
I mean, would you say it's a new look? Have you ever seen it look like that? And I mean, Dawn, too, you've seen that version, right?
Yes.
I don't know how much is color correction, how much is, because I know, sometimes you get prints from the early 80s that have turned a little pink or whatever. So I don't know if the print we have is slightly faded, and then this just seems, more vibrant because they went to the negative, or because they did digital cleaning up. I'm not sure.
Don, did the look of this release kind of shock you?
No.
That's it. That's all you got to say.
Correct.
I don't know that it was shocking. I mean, I think I guess
I found it shocking, and I'm not even a fan. Like, it looked so different. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it.
I think if you looked at a 4K restoration of, like, say, Poltergeist or The Thing, it would look a lot better, because most of those prints are not that great looking, that I've seen, at least in the world. I mean, there may be good prints that just I haven't seen yet, but so I just tend to assume that when there's a 4K restoration of an 80s film, it's just going to look a little bit better, because the prints that I've had access to are probably either old or like several generations. I mean, I'm assuming that The Thing has been reprinted a couple times since.
I'm more interested in this print that I'm holding in my hands right now.
Oh.
So Brian's got behind him some old new Dune books. I'm sorry.
This is the new Dune series.
The new ones. I've got in my hand a very worn 1965 copy. One of many
wow,
copies of Dune
another reason why Don's a shit broadcaster, because this really works well for a podcast.
I'm just saying, these are words, and this is what a book looks like, Trevor. And this is where stories lie.
Wow.
I brought up.
Can we talk about Dune Messiah and how Peter Dinklage should be in Dune Messiah?
I was thinking, I just read Dune Messiah last week, and I was thinking, like, is it too on the nose to have?
It's 100% on the nose, but if he's such a good actor, he's got to be it.
He is good.
He's got to be it.
The jazz.
But I forgot. It's been a while since I read Messiah, because I'm more of a God Emperor myself, and I really want that movie to get made. So
okay, so God bless you, God Emperor should be a film, guys, but like, it's basically just a political treatise. Like, it's just him talking. Like, there's not a lot of visual stuff. What I don't know.
I'd love to see. Well, no, there's some action scenes with his heir, essentially, and there's a love scene with a Finn.
A lot of him throwing his body around and crushing people.
It would be legendary. It's a little pun for legendary films, pictures. And it would be innovative, visionary versus just telling a little story about a guy in the sand. Trevor, you should really read the book. I
don't know if you've seen. Have you seen the sci-fi series of Dune?
Absolutely. And I've got it. And Trevor and I are going to sit and watch it, and I'm going to talk through the whole thing. The sci-fi one I actually liked back in the day. I thought it was a good attempt. It was like a play. It was like community theater, but I liked it.
Instead of spooning with his wife at night, he spoons with his DVD copy of the sci-fi version of Dune.
Incorrect.
I mean, that is hard to find these days, so hold on to that. But
John has all the copies.
I have all the copies.
I like what they did with Children of Dune, but
yes,
they're both hokey.
Oh, they're hokey, but they tried. Yeah.
They have a mix of really good actors and then really bad actors, and the costumes are kind of iffy, but those digital sets from like the early 2000s where they're just in green screens and just like the most horrific backgrounds. It's very hard to watch.
It's very hard to watch, but they did a good job of distilling the story into something that's watchable for the story.
Yeah, I think Children of Dune is actually effective. In fact, it's to me like I feel like there's no point making Dune Messiah without making Children of Dune.
Mm-hmm.
That's like another 2 movies, but
yeah, Dune Messiah I think is one of the weaker of the books as a standalone.
Children is my second favorite after the original.
Interesting.
So
you'll never know our joy, Trevor. You'll never know our joy.
I don't know joy. Period. But I
did you say Stilgar?
In our last episode,
Stilgar the clown.
In our last episode, we talked about our impressions of Dune Part 2, and we referred to Dune 84. And I brought up a point that Brian, you can articulate far better than I can. Even in 84, when it was initially released, a lot of people complained about the special effects. And I remember you talking a few weeks ago about how those special effects, I'm not talking about the production design, but the special effects themselves kind of fit in line with the whole Dino's thing. Like, can you extrapolate more on that?
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Flash Gordon.
Me too. It's fantastic.
I'm not as much of a fan as Barbarella. I think it looks great, but I think it's just really pokey and plotty. But I just think he's got this great visual sense where, there's something about the way his movies, like even his King Kong. I mean, I think his movies look great. I think, though, I will say, I've been reading Masterpiece in Disarray, which is Max Every's book on the making of Lynch's Dune. And, they started with a lot of ideas for the special effects. And then I think as they were going over budget, they started kind of cutting back on some of the special effects. So I do feel that the sense I get from this book is that going into it, the special effects were going to be top level. John Dykstra was brought on board to do that.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
And then he and Raffaella De Laurentiis didn't fully get along. And so some other people were brought in who are maybe not quite at his level, but then also a lot of their money was taken away. So I feel like it could have been.
But what special effects was missing? I mean, also, why do you need it when you have such strong, you got Patrick Stewart, Sting, Kyle MacLachlan was in it too. Sean Young. What do you need any special effects when you got such a cast?
I don't think the special effects are that bad. I've seen some people who've kind of, redone them, and I think, maybe they look better for more modern era. I mean, it's always, I think you always have to grade stuff on a curve a little bit. Yeah. I think.
One thing, Brian, I mean, I agree with you, but one thing that actually stood out for me, there's 2 things that really stood out for me in a negative way for the newer Dune. Dune 2020, was it 4?
4.
Oh, 20 years, great. One is the Christopher Walken casting. We can go to that later. But number 2 is I actually thought the CGI in some of this was not good. I thought when they're in Gidi Prime in the arena, and you're seeing all the people cheering Fade Rotha, they all look the same. They're all moving in groups of 10. It looks super fake to me. I made a joke to Trevor while we were watching it most recently that is this the opening of Phantom Menace at the pod race scene? It felt the same. as that. So I
Well,
felt
you
that.
shouldn't talk during movies, even if you don't. But
Oh my God. It's so good that we did not sit near you, Brian, last week, because you would have you would have no longer have held Don's hand. You would have strangled him. He was checking his watch the entire. Oh, it was horrible.
This is where I enter in the pod racing scene audio.
I agree. Listen, I agree with that. I'm on the. I thought maybe that was a stylistic choice to kind of show that they were kind of more. They were more kind of robotic, but I don't know. Like I don't know if
I was surprised. I was surprised by that. And when Paul's up there with the knife, that's all cool. But I thought the crowd looked a little fake too. But really, the arena scene just really it surprised me how.
I like the arena scene. I like the kind of the like reverse fireworks. I think I like.
Oh, that was cool. No, I like that. It was literally just the people in the stands.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I did feel like, oh, this looks kind of weird. But then I'm like, oh, maybe it's a stylistic choice. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of giving him more credit than I should.
Yes.
I think for the most part, I think for the most part, the effects are okay in this. I don't think I didn't see anything that was like egregious. And having grown up in the 80s, I have the ability to look at 80s movies and kind of be like, okay, whatever. But I also have the ability to look at 50s movies and see rear screen projection and be like, okay, that's just how it is, and not like freak out about it. And I know that sometimes younger people, when you're at a movie at like the Brattle or another rep house, are like, oh, like they're pretending they're driving, but clearly they're like, yeah, obviously, dummy. Like they knew that then. Like, so I feel like I do feel
I'm
like
with you. Yeah.
a modern audience would probably look at Lynch's Dune and be like, oh, this looks like shit. And they won't be able to say like, oh, okay, like I have to understand where it comes in. But I would say that, the idea of like what Dykstra would have done with the original budget they had, I think would have been a lot better. I think this is one of those kind of sunk cost fallacy kind of situations where Universal like put a lot of money into it and then they started getting cold feet. It's like, well, by now, like you might as well, like, I don't know that if they spent another, like, I don't know, 5 million or whatever, the movie would have been any worse. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, would the movie have done better had it been a little bit longer and had better effects? Maybe.
But we can agree that the soundtrack is fire.
Oh my God, the soundtrack is amazing. The thing that talks about that Max Avery talks about in Masterpiece and Dre is that the whole idea of getting Toto to do this was based on the success they had with Queen doing
Flash Gordon.
But I also, in my heart, feel it's kind of like a throwback to Jodorowsky's Dune when he was going to have Magma and Pink Floyd do all the music. So I love the idea. I mean, Toto's not Queen, certainly.
No.
That's not a hot take. But I think what they are all like kind of top-notch session musicians, surely. And I think the music they came up with, is awesome.
Were you surprised how similar this part 2 was to Lynch's soundtrack?
The music.
The music.
I mean, I feel that's obvious. I mean, I think there's a number of nods in this to the Lynch version. I think when they clean up after like the poison attack in the first one, they're clearly wearing the same outfit that the Harkonnens are wearing in the first movie or the Lynch movie. So I feel like there's a lot of like little nods to it here and there. I mean, one of the first trailer that came out, they did that thing where they used like a slow song, like a slow rock song, and it was a Pink Floyd song, which absolutely was a reference to Jodorowsky. So
yeah.
I feel like Villeneuve is definitely trying to kind of nod to Lynch as much as possible.
Yeah, I loved at the very end. There's the bells from the original soundtrack that go in. I love that. But how like electric rock guitar it was actually kind of surprising, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, even I picked up on that. I told Don at the end, I said it had that Eno like Toto sound, like just the
noisy,
the arrangement of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the Eno was the prophecy theme that Eno wrote. I feel like there's a bunch of places that's in there. There's that scene towards the end. I think it's just before the scene with Fade Ralpha where they kind of cut to this exterior scene and like the sun is coming down and there's this like synthesizer sting that's nowhere else in it. I'm like, that is definitely a Lynch Dune reference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wanted more. But I got to ask you, Brian, hold on, Trevor. I gotta just because Trevor gave me crap for a year or two about this note about what they were doing. Christopher Walken.
I have to say, I think Christopher Walken is one of the places where I don't think it's super successful. I think his like
What a lily ass way of saying it sucked.
I don't know that it sucks, but I
It
do
didn't
feel like
suck.
there's two issues. One is like, he speaks a specific way and was Baron, that like I don't think that.
That was really good.
That was really good, Brian.
But to me, I think I have a bigger issue, and this is more in the writing, where he talks about, oh, your father was a weak man because he wanted to lead with the heart, and the heart was paralyzed. Like, that I think that's one of the few lines that Villeneuve added that I'm like, this doesn't fit the tone of the character because, and they do mention in the beginning, like, 2.5 hours before that scene where Irulan says, like, oh, my father loved you like a son, but I think that's handled much better in the book with the idea that like he hated to turn against him, but politics kind of prevailed, and I like you get a shadow of that in Irulan saying, but then like I think by the time 2.5 hours go by, people have forgotten it,
And like it made no sense just in general. Like why?
No, I think he should have been more like I loved your father, but this is business, it's not personal. Like I think that's the idea of like your father was a weak man, like nowhere in the
what
canon
does that have to do with anything? Yeah.
is that but that's not true in the canon, and I don't even know that it makes sense. I just don't think it makes sense, and it's one of the things that really kind of sticks out to me every time. I've seen it like 4 times now, and every time like, oh, this should have gotten another pass to kind of fix this. It's kind of a bummer, but that's not Walken's fault. That's Villeneuve's fault.
No,
But
it's
that's
his fault
also
for the
the casting.
line. It's his fault for casting him. It's his
Yeah.
fault for making, Gidi Prime nothing. Just making the Emperor look powerless and weak and
Yeah,
Okay, who would have been a better emperor?
Oh, I don't know.
anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I think a lot of people would have been better. Anthony Hopkins probably would have been better. If you need to go with an old guy, which
But I don't remember the actor's name, but in Lynch's Dune, he was like a regal old guy, like older
Jose
guy, but not too
Carrera,
old. Jose Carrera, yeah. And he was surrounded in the first 2 minutes by the trappings of power, and you believed it was wealth and it was power.
Yeah.
And you don't get that.
And you miss the corruption and the decadence of him really comes through the Lynch version because he is surrounded. Because one of the things that they talk about in the book is that, and the book's different because in Villeneuve's movie, Paul basically says, "I'm taking over, the planet. Come here with like that tube." And in the book, it's just that the Emperor was like, like the Harkonnen are getting their ass kicked. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to put an end to this. But I feel like they make a big deal that like all the sick, and you can see like a a Versailles type situation where all these hangers on and these sycophants and these fops all come down because they're going to watch the end of the war and like that's going to be so exciting. And then like how terrified they are at the end because they're like, oh, we came because we thought this would be like a fun picnic, and like our emperor is about to like be deposed, and this is terrifying. And I feel like you miss out all on that by it's just him and Irulan being
like
the
12 people in a 12 people in a room, like no power, nothing. Yeah,
I think you really miss out on all that stuff. It's sort of like he's just so. Yeah, it's like he's kind of alone, and Irulan is his only connection to the world, and I do think like that's really missing out on
right.
a bit.
It was an interesting choice to have Paul be the one to like summon the Emperor essentially there, because having the Emperor be the one, like the Barons like screwing this up, I'm gonna take charge, I'm the big dog. That's a very different dynamic than what they did, big time.
And that's what happens in Lynch's version.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, for all the talk about he's got the
gravitas.
What do you call it? The voice things for the weird, the voice modules for the weirding way, and how different that is. Like Villeneuve made a lot of changes, and again, on the whole, I think they're positive changes. I really like what he did with Chani.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why he didn't bring Alia in, because I think if you watch Alicia Witt in the first one, it does seem weird, and I don't think like they explain like, wait, why is there this little kid that's like dancing around with a knife? What is happening? I think like it kind of makes sense, some of those things that they did.
Well, also this whole thing happens in the span of like a couple of months, whereas in the book it's years that Paul's in the desert.
There's like in typical Herbert fashion, it's like, oh yeah, 2 years have passed. Anyways, now the war's over. Now we get to the political stuff again. But but Lynch's film also has Irulan doing the voiceover, saying like 2 years have passed,
Yeah.
and then obviously, in the book, Paul and Chani have a child who dies, which is what I think. Isn't that what I may be wrong here? But I think that's what inspires him to drink the water of life because he doesn't see the attack.
Yeah.
No, I take it back. No. It's because Gurney Halleck is trying to kill Jessica because she thinks that she's the traitor.
That's what I was trying to explain to Trevor over here the other day. That's right.
That gets pulled out of both of them.
But also, like, yeah, there's just so much is left. I don't know. Trevor, I'm sorry. Trevor looks sad. He wants to ask a question. Please. You may go.
There's no exposition dump more insufferable than the last half an hour of Dune 84, which isn't it like 3 books and 30 minutes?
No.
And it's just information.
At the beginning,
am I wrong?
Yes, I think you are. At the beginning,
Okay.
yes, because Virginia Madsen as Irulan comes on and explains everything. And then
wait. Know then that is the year 10,191. The known universe is ruled by the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, my father. You want me? Oh, Trevor won't let me keep going. Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Listen, a beginning is a delicate time.
Oh, deep cut from the book. Woohoo!
But I think that, but then there's like this weird, like she kind of fades out and comes back on. Then there's the part where she's like, oh, I forgot to tell you. The only place what? It's such a weird.
Brian, we have to cut off this podcast because it's a beginning is the time for taking the most delicate care that the balances are correct. Is the opening.
Didn't she say in the movie a beginning is a delicate time though? Isn't that how it starts? Am I wrong?
A beginning is.
Oh wow, you guys don't even know the movie.
Wait a second.
Fantastic.
Oh, beginning is a delicate time. Oh, there's there might be multiple versions of this, but I don't know. I had the VHS with the animated opening, so I might be screwed up in my head too. So
yes, anyway. Trevor, to answer your question, yes, there's a lot, and then it goes to this weird, like a guild note, like, oh, it has come to our attention that there's these 4 planets, which is a weird way to put it. And then he's watching a video that talks about like, oh, and here's Giddy Prime, and here's like basically recapping it all. So there's like 3 scenes right in a row trying to set you up, and some of it kind of overlaps and some of it doesn't. So I think it is very.
However, a lot of sci-fi, right? They start with like a long scroll of text or a long block of text. That's what people did. And this was different. This was trying to go past people reading.
I guess. Yeah,
it's a bit much.
But I think it is a lot for. But that to me seems to be the.
I think the movie
to be the thing that holds people up the most because it's like they're waiting for a story to start and it's all this stuff and they're like, wait, what? And then I think that starts to lose people from the beginning. And I think some people never feel they get their bearings again.
Right. But that movie really starts once the Emperor and the Guild are there. Like when the Guild Navigator shows up.
Yeah, and I think you could have started that way and kind of you could have written it in such a way to kind of like the Villeneuve version does to say like, we need the spice, and then kind of what's your plan. I mean, basically that's sort of exposition too, because he has the Emperor basically explain the plan of like, okay, well,
we want to kill him, but like kill the son.
The Atreides are getting too popular, and so I'm gonna get rid of them and replace them, or to get rid of them, I'm gonna put them back on Dune. Blah, blah, blah. So like, there's just a lot of explanation. I think they could have cut some of it down, but within
that, you get the opulence of the Emperor, you get the Bene Gesserit, you get the telepathy, you get
that scene. Yes, but I'm saying like if you cut out like all the shit before it, just got straight to if you cut it, you got rid of the Princess Irulan explaining stuff. If you just started with the Emperor, you could have written it in such a way that you would have understood what was happening.
Trevor, do you get that the Guild was like mutated humans who lived a really long time that look like fish?
So I just have 2 questions left. Well, this one's really simple. I asked Don this on our last podcast, and Brian, I'm now asking you.
Don't let him.
Anya Taylor-Joy or Alicia Witt?
It's an unfair comparison. I think they cheated a little bit. I'll be honest, I didn't know what I wasn't when they said Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm like, oh, I wonder who she's going to be because I just assumed they were going to have a child be Alia. And it wasn't until I was watching the movie and then I saw like that they had the shot of like the fetus. I'm like, oh, it's going to be Anya Taylor-Joy, it's going to be Alia, but then are they going to use some CGI to make her look young? That's weird. And then they just did a whole different thing. Again, because the movie takes place over 2 years, or the book takes place over 2 years, and the Lynch movie, like she gets born, and I feel like what they did is a little bit of a cheat. She's obviously going to come back for part 3 because she's a big part of Messiah. But I don't know. I think she's a good choice for that.
I don't think she's weird enough.
I mean,
for Alia.
I don't know. I think I'm excited when she shows up for the third one to be super weird.
You might be shocked, but the correct answer is Alicia Witt. Alicia Witt, I thought was
from New
better.
England. You don't get to just say Alicia Witt's better.
No. Yes, because we're supporting our local folks. And I thought she was just creepier in Dune 84.
Yes,
as
because
a 5-year-old.
Because she's a child.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's developed, and she's talking about all sorts of stuff, and she freaks everybody out. That's like one of my favorite parts about her in the book is like people keep coming to Jessica like, you've got to do something about her. She's freaking all the kids out. She's freaking all the moms out. She's talking stuff that like it's just really awkward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Brian that though. Like along with like Alia, like the Water of Life wasn't a really big deal. Like it was like, oh, it's a local custom how they become a Bene Gesserit. That seems super weird to me.
That does seem weird, and I mean, I will agree with you.
It's a weird choice to go that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't make it clear that that's how one becomes a Reverend Mother everywhere. That's not just something that.
No, it purposely isn't. I read it as they're saying every place is different how you become a Reverend Mother.
No, right, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like instead of they changed it to be like, oh, this is a local Fremen custom, which just seems super weird.
Yeah,
but
super odd. Go ahead, Trevor.
So my last question, Brian.
Well, I will say though, in both movies, hold on though, they drink the Water of Life out of the same looking flask, so that's like another reference. It's like they have it like literally the same shaped container.
My last question is so.
Go ahead, Trevor.
So subjectively, Dune 84 is a good movie, but is it objectively a good movie?
I can't be objective about Dune.
There you go. That is the correct answer.
Okay, so I mean, this is
objectively probably not, just because of people who have not read the book seeing it and being so like kind of put off by it. I guess maybe it's not. But I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people who've not read the book and then and see the
Trevor's holding his cat.
They've seen the movie a few times. They've kind of gotten in the movie as kind of like a cult movie, but I mean, I know Ryan Johnson doesn't like it. He did a podcast about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you know who else doesn't like it? David Lynch.
Okay, let's talk about this. I don't care because
who cares?
Because I'm not a big believer in like the kind of like the authorial voice. Like he made this thing like so, and I also think, and I think he's wrong because he's basing it on not the work. So like, I think we talked about this. So like R.E.M's third record, Reconstruction of the Fables, is
now we're talking my language here.
I think that's might be my favorite R.E.M. record.
Yeah, great record.
They hate it, and the reason they hate it is because they were in England and they were their first time recording outside the U.S. and they weren't really getting along with their producer and they were miserable and it was cold and they almost broke up. So I don't think that when they listen to that record, they're not thinking like, oh, this song is really good, the production's good. They're thinking like, oh, like we really like fucking almost broke up that day. Like, and I don't have that experience and it's irrelevant. I think the art that came out of that experience is fucking incredible. But like, and I think all of Lynch is talking about it, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but in the Masterpiece of Disarray, there's a brand new interview with him talking about it. But it seems like his frustration is it wasn't his film. He wanted to have a 3-hour version. He had to cut it back, and he's so upset about that. But I'm going to say something. This may be a bit of a hot take. I think Wild at Heart is not a great film. I think there's some good stuff in it, but I think ultimately I would consider it a failure, and that was all on him. So what's like a bigger failure? The movie that you had complete control over and you still fucked it up, or the movie that like you had kind of out of your hands?
The
It's
movie
wild.
that it's Dune. The bigger failure is definitely Dune 84
Incorrect.
with the
Incorrect.
budget and everything.
I would
Definitely.
disagree.
We
Well,
disagree. Can we agree
we'll
to
have to agree
disagree?
to disagree on that.
Yes.
But
Brian and I are correct as having read the book, seen the movies, and understand literature and film. We agree, and we are correct. Okay, before we go, Trevor, I just want us all to just hold up our hand. Can we just hold up our hand like this? Where is it? Hold up your hand like
Wait, hold on, I
this.
want to say one thing though. Wait,
please.
I want to say one thing about Lynch. What I will say that's like super incredible about this is it's got a lot of that Lynch sound design that kind of transfers. So even in the Straight Story, there's so many stuff that's distinctly Lynch in this film that
yes, I agree.
I don't know, like he seems to, I don't know if some of his argument is like this isn't my film because it got taken away from me, but like it definitely feels like a Lynch film. And so his fingerprints are all over it. And I feel that even if you don't like Dune, if you like Lynch, I think there's a way in that way.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, I don't flat out hate the film, and a lot of this is
maybe you should watch it now that you've seen the new one and you understand
a lot of this is a bit of a put on. I from a production design, I don't know. I keep going back and forth on who had the grander vision.
Oh,
Villeneuve or Lynch. I know your
100%,
answer,
100%.
Don. It's just the visions
Brian's
are
too.
so different.
No,
the
they're
visions
not.
are so different.
Villeneuve is
but
pedestrian.
The Lynch one is so it's so creative. It's just it's so exciting.
He tried
to look at. Yeah. It's so big. I mean, to be honest, I think it's just a film that got away from him. I think he even kind of alludes to that in the autobiography that came out a few years ago, that the film just kind of got away from him. And I don't think he wants to talk about, I think he likes to, retcon it and just make it sound like, hey, you know what? This was part of my deal in order to get Blue Velvet. I
don't think that's completely true.
I mean, he did say in the book, in the autobiography, that this was a 2-picture deal. If he did Dune, he got Blue Velvet.
True, but based on everything that I've read in A Masterpiece of Disarray, like nobody came into this thinking like, oh, this was just like warfare. He was very passionate. He had a lot of great ideas.
Yeah, that's in the autobiography too. I'm just saying, in retrospect, in what Lynch is saying now, at least in the autobiography, is that I think he kind of writes it off as this was my path to Blue Velvet.
It's a massive, massive, massive production. And it's bigger than anything he's done before or since, to be honest. And I think if you look at the fact that Eraserhead took, 10 years to make? Yeah. Like, the number of, just the size of the cast was massive. And even though, Rafaela De Laurentiis is, the producer, she's kind of organizing stuff, that's a big production to be in charge of. So the fact that he got anything out at all is pretty impressive. But to your point, it got away from him. I think some of it is I don't want to give up. I don't want to ever have final cut. Some is I don't want to be on a movie this big again. This is too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. That's it for me.
I just want to do one thing in honor of David Lynch and the Weirding Way. Just Trevor, Brian, it's up to you if you want to do this, but Trevor, just hold up your hand.
Brian's not going to do it.
Just give me and repeat after me, Trevor.
That's more embarrassing than any
live
fight,
effect, everybody.
We
live
did.
effect.
Yeah. Look at the
I didn't hear you say it.
Yeah. So
Trevor's name is a killing word. Oh, I love it. Well, honestly, Brian, I think that's what I think Trevor should do. Is that he should watch Lynch's Dune now that he'll understand it better and maybe appreciate it more about how much it is. Because,
anytime, Trevor, you can come into my place. I'll come to yours. I got the 4K ready to go.
You know what we'll do, Brian? You know what we'll do? We'll do it in my studio. We'll do a
Don,
recording.
Invited.
We'll do Lynch, and then we'll do the sci-fi miniseries. It'll be a great 9 or 10 hour marathon.
I haven't seen that forever. I've
got a gorgeous copy of it. Gorgeous Pirate Bay copy.
Well, Brian, I did promise the next.
I would say that Paul is poorly cast, but
yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap up here with Dune 84. Don, do you have any final words to say about Dune 84?
You're wrong. We're right. Shai Hulud.
Brian, any final points about Dune 84, Dune 1984?
David Lynch's
I-
masterpiece, Dune.
Yeah, I would say The Sleeper has awakened.
Yes. Listen, I'll give you.
Oh boy. Well, at least I got through it.
I didn't get to
That's
ask
all that
Brian what he
matters.
thought about Stilgar the Clown. You know, why?
You know what? This is what this may be a hot take. I think he's trying to portray like he's a little foolish, but I think what Villeneuve is saying is that like kind of people who just like follow leaders are a little bit foolish. I think he's cartoonish because like I think if you look at, I mean, obviously, you know, what do you call it? Herbert was looking at JFK, but I mean, I think it's just as true with Trump today. When you've got a charismatic leader and you just follow them without thinking, like you are a little foolish and you should think more. And I think that's kind of the point of the book. And I think he used Stilgar as a way to kind of show like this isn't a good way to be. Like you need to kind of think a little bit more before you just follow people.
Yeah, I see. I disagree with Don completely about him being a clown. No. This is.
Yeah, I don't think he was a clown, but I think he is kind of.
Well, Don keeps calling him a clown.
Foolish.
Foolish
Foolish is a good term.
As somebody who was raised by, you know, fundamentalist extremists, I found Stilgar. Yes, there were some funny moments, but I recognize that behavior, and I found it to be scary. I never found him to be a clown. That performance seemed very real to me.
Again, this could just be I was expecting Stilgar the leader from the book. That's all. That could
so you didn't get your expectations.
I will admit
and
that.
You're gonna knock.
But I also thought it took like Christopher Walken. It took me out of the movie every once in a while. It was a little bit of too much of a comedic wink and a nod to the audience. That felt
I think
slightly out of place.
I will agree. I think he hit it too hard too often. But I will say yes. Like he is foolish. But I do think that is meant to be kind of frightening because like that's sort of like, you know, Stilgar led the Fremen for however many years since he took over, and then he sort of just like kind of handed all that to Paul, and then like just the it is frightening that you would just kind of hand over your kind of autonomy to somebody.
Well, Brian, I know there were times where this was an intense experience, but I want to thank you for coming on. We are definitely going to have you back for more Dune talk down the road.
I will talk about Dune anytime.
After the festival, let's make plans to have you come over and watch the 4K disc. Dawn, you're not invited.
Well, you were not invited to my Babylon 5 marathon.
Yeah, God. Thank you for coming on the show. And can you can you plug the upcoming festival, please?
Yes, 21st Annual Independent Film Festival Boston, May 1st through 8th at the Somerville Theater, Brattle Theater, Coolidge Corner Theater. Go to iffboston.org for more info.
It's a great festival. It truly is. I'm not saying that because I'm involved with it. I've seen just incredible films, met great filmmakers. I mean, last year, you know, I'm not a film critic, but I do a top 10 movies of the year at the end of every year. And I think there were 3 or 4 films that I saw at last year's IFF Boston that were on there that I would not have seen any other way. It truly is a great festival, and there's some amazing guests that come by. So please come out to the festival, buy tickets, iffboston.org.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bell, and if you know my husband Dax, then you also know he loves shopping for a car. Selling a car? Not so much.
We're really doing this, huh?
Thankfully, Carvana makes it easy. Answer a few questions, put in your VIN or license, and done. We sold ours in minutes this morning, and they'll come pick it up and pay us this afternoon.
Bye-bye, truckie.
Of course, we kept the favorite.
Hello, other truckie.
Sell your car with Carvana today. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
Oh, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. Get more with Geico.
All right, and welcome back. Okay, before we leave, Trevor, you said you wanted to tell me something. I am all ears.
Well, earlier I spoke about how Dawn's deplorable behavior at the movies. So we're going to go see Civil War, and I'm not looking forward to it. I haven't liked a single film that I think his name's Alex Garland directed. I didn't like Ex Machina. I didn't like Annihilation. I didn't see Men. I still need to see that. I have liked some films that he's written. I liked his Judge Dredd film a lot. He wrote that. I enjoyed that film very much.
But wait a second, Judge Dredd, the new one, sure, the newer one. But
are you talking about the Stallone one?
Stallone one. Great movie. I grew up with that. Loved it. Oh my God.
It's so weird that I remember the name of that director. His name was Danny Cannon, and he directed the Stallone version of Judge Dredd. The newer version with
yeah.
The newer version. Well, I actually think
with Lena. Yeah, Sandra Bullock.
I think Sandra Bullock's a lot of fun in
Wesley Snipes, right? Great movie.
That's Demolition Man.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Demolition Man. I'm sorry, not Judge Dredd.
I'm thinking of Demolition Man too by saying
see,
Sandra
these
Bullock.
movies were all the same.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but Danny Cannon did do the Dredd film.
Judge Dredd was Dune reference. Max von Sydow was in Judge Dredd, I believe.
The Stallone one, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I never knew that. I mean, I saw the film in the theater when it came
Chief
out.
Justice Fargo, Max von Sydow, Judge Dredd. Yep, loved him.
Anyways, Don asked me to go see Civil War with him, and I agreed to go after I vomited in my mouth. And I think right here, right now, we need to set some rules, because regardless of who enjoys the film or who doesn't, that doesn't matter. It's about being respectful to other people in the theater and being respectful to my enjoyment of the exhibition experience. So, Dawn.
Yes.
Turn off your phone and turn off your watch next time.
I was counting my money.
Okay. Stop shaking your legs. And I mean, you don't just bounce your knee. Your legs are constantly shaking.
I'm used to a refined movie-going experience with comfortable chairs that lean back. You took me to a place with uncomfortable, rigid, old.
The seats had cushiony memory foam, and they had what they call butt kickers built into them.
Butt kickers. Jordan's shout out, but come on. I like recliners. I like my feet up.
Okay, well, I'll take you to, we're going to go see it at Watertown, which has the best recliners and the most comfortable seats that I've ever experienced. So there's that. But then, I mean, are you going to be able to watch the film without your running commentary of bad dad jokes the entire time?
Only if the movie's good. Now here, I did not have that many jokes in Dune, okay? I literally just equated the Harkonnen arena scene with the pod race scene in The Phantom Menace. That's it. One little comment.
No.
One
every
little
time.
comment.
No.
And then every time Stilgar
That is
talks,
a lie. Yes. Okay. There. That's what I was going to say. Every time Javier Bardem opened his mouth, you were leaned over. He's a clown. He's an idiot. He's dumb. And I'm just like, dude, can we just watch this?
It was too.
Why are you
harmless,
a child?
Two harmless jokes. I wanted you to know that I was there.
It was relentless.
I wanted you to know that I was there.
What are you, a Gen Zer? Like, what is your problem?
I know it's hard for boomers to understand.
Oh, I am not a boomer. Don't you dare say that.
Some of us can multitask. Just because I was on TikTok while in the movie theater.
You're at a movie.
I wasn't doing any of this, folks. He is a liar.
That is not true.
I just had to listen to him crunch on his popcorn M&M combo the whole time.
Dude, let me tell you. People, medium popcorn, a little bit of butter,
Gross.
bag of peanut M&Ms
Oh,
right in there. Mix it up. Heaven.
oh,
Heaven. Let me tell you.
disgusting, sir.
Heaven.
Disgusting.
Got that idea from Sam Esmail's TV show, Mr. Robot. Great TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Anyways, how are we going to wrap this up? Because we both seem to have run out of
as
steam.
possible, please. We are more than halfway through the season, and maybe we're at the end of the season. I don't know. Maybe this is our last episode, Trevor. No. We're not going to let our winners down. I like that from our last few episodes.
And hopefully this will be the end of Dune 84 talk for a long time.
Until Dune Messiah in 3 to 30 years.
Don, always wonderful to talk to you.
Always wonderful to be done with you. And to our listeners, thank you so much.
To our listeners, yes, thank you very much for supporting us. Hope you enjoyed the show, and
don't forget to subscribe right on all your favorite platforms. I heard Google Podcasts is going away or is away at this point.
Really?
I'm not sure, but we are on Audible and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts, and
are we on Spotify?
Breaker, Spotify. Yeah.
Spotify, yeah.
Spotify, ask your Alexa to play No Win Scenario, and it will work.
No way.
Let's do it, Trev. You don't have
I'll try.
You can't.
I'll try. No, I'll try with Siri.
Borrow mine. And yeah.
Okay. Well. Also, I want you to buy me the Arrow 4K of Dune 84 because I'm not going to spend my money on it, and I want you to buy me an Audible of the first Dune book, and I know you'll do it.
Well, your 50th birthday has to be coming up. Wait a second. It is actually.
No, it's not.
No. It's gotta be. It's relatively soon.
It's close, but no, it's not coming.
Send your birthday presents to nowinScenarioPodcast@gmail.com. Gift cards welcome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
With that, I'm going home. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
In today's world, mental health is everyone's concern. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please use these resources. For U.S. listeners, call 1-800-950-6264 or text Helpline, all one word, HELPLINE, to 62640 or email helpline@NAMI.org. That's NAMI.org. For our international listeners, please visit suicidestop.com. That's SUICIDESTOP.com.
There's nothing more satisfying than finding the perfect green paint for your living room. Except maybe popping open that can of Valspar Ultra and rolling that first smooth stroke on the wall. And there's nothing more satisfying than admiring your freshly painted wall. Ooh. Except maybe peeling off the painter's tape to see those crisp edges. But the most satisfying part of all? Valspar Ultra's price tag, starting at $29.98 a gallon. Affordable, durable, available at Lowe's. Price varies by sheen.